Okay, let me go ahead and explain to you one more time why it is that people are upset about you joining ESPN, Pat.
A lot of people pumped. A lot of people pumped.
Yeah.
A lot of people not
A
pumped.
lot of people not
A lot of
pumped.
people not pumped.
If you didn't see my previous response to Pat McAfee signing with ESPN, don't worry, I'll be leaving it in the description box to go along with the full response from McAfee himself. And in that video, I basically asserted that, let's just put it this way here, not everything that glitters is gold, and at some point in time, ESPN will eventually sink their claws into him and try to make him toe the line. Now, some people have already asserted that he went ahead and sold his soul. He went ahead and became a sellout. I took the position of I don't think he knows what he did, but at the same time, yeah, for the most part, basically sold his soul without actually looking very, very much into it. Basically was a little bit naive. Now, McAfee explained in his response that he would basically be given, for the most part, pretty well, let's just say mostly full control of what comes from the Pat McAfee show. The problem is that if they've already told you that you can't say certain words, then obviously you don't have full control. You would be better off just staying right here on YouTube full time. Now, of course, Pat also decided to turn down a contract from FanDuel, and as a result of this, yeah, people are not happy, as you guys will see here in a second. Now, I'm going to play two snippets from his response. We're going to respond to each of those responses. And also, I'm going to kind of break down what I think Pat was thinking when he did this, but also at the same time, I'm going to maintain everything that I said in that previous take, meaning that obviously I'm going to double down. Let's be honest. Not everything that glitters is gold, and if you sign with an entity like Disney at some point in time, you are going to be forced to toe the line and carry the agenda, or it's very possible that you may let's just say get fired and find yourself in court one day when you decide to actually buck up against the system. With that right there being said, let's go ahead and get into this.
A lot of people pumped. A lot of people pumped.
Yeah.
A lot of people not pumped.
A lot of people not pumped.
A lot of people not pumped. I just would like to say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everybody's passion and appreciation for this program. I would also like a little bit of faith. Huh?
Just a little.
Huh?
Think about it.
Huh? Kind of look at everything that I've been a part of, pretty much. Like everything. A little bit different probably.
Really quick, if my voice is a little bit raspier than normal, I want to go ahead and take a second to apologize for that. I understand that you might not want to do this when you've actually got a bit of a rasp going on where your throat's a little bit jacked up. But of course, this is what happens to me at least once every couple of weeks. So sometimes you just kind of got to sort of soldier through it. So Pat has claimed that he has been receiving all kinds of very, very bad messages. Now, he didn't handle it like in the way of somebody trying to play the victim. You know, the normal people who I'm getting death threats and whatnot, even though they started something. He seemed to handle it a little bit more professionally, which is exactly what I would expect out of the Pat McAfee show. But still, at the same time, though, you got to understand that there are people out there, myself included, who are a little bit upset. And, of course, you've also got sportscasters out there like, say, Jason Whitlock, for example, who really went all in on Pat. And I thought, okay, he's got some points, and I'll probably leave his response in the description box as well in case you guys want to see it. You've also got some people who are kind of saying this is a great move for the McAfee show. But at the same time, though, anytime you find a way to alienate your audience, and Pat even said he had people on both sides of the aisle watching his content, I don't know if that's entirely true. He probably thinks that, but if you ever look at the comment section of the Pat McAfee show anytime he airs, it seems to me that a lot of people who went to Pat McAfee because they were upset with the direction that ESPN was going. I personally believe that ESPN was going in that direction probably before 2016. The more and more we find out that sports, for the most part, is becoming more entertainment, almost like the WWE, except not in the right way. I talked about this in a video that I did on Bill Maher a while back on how it is that the media loves to manipulate people, including the sports media, by using the old WWE card, meaning that we say certain things to get certain people riled up. The whole entire point is designed to be divisive. And one of the last things that you want to be divisive is, of course, the world of sports. Sports is not meant to be divisive, and there are people out there that call it out. Black and white sports, for example, they call it out. Behind the line, they call it out. This channel right here is more of a general wokeness channel, meaning I call out wokeness on all fronts, and of course I'm going to be leaning more into pop culture in the near future. But the fact of the matter is that we go to Pat McAfee to get the hell away from shows like from channels like ESPN and FS1. I mean, dude, nobody wants to hear Nick Wright run his mouth. Nobody wants to hear Stephen A. Smith when he plays the race card. Nobody wants to hear Ryan Clark, Mina Kimes, or Kendrick Perkins, who in one video I called Kendrick Lamar like twice. Very, very funny video. Hell, I think I might leave that one in the description box for you guys if you guys want to have some fun at my expense. Don't worry, I'll probably do that. But let's go ahead and play the first part of his response, and then we'll come back, and then we'll play the other part, and then we'll go ahead and give ourselves a nice, good conclusion. Fact of the matter is, though, like I said, though, Pat, I really and truly think that you may have thought you were signing a good deal, but if by now, if you can't see what ESPN has turned into, and what they are, even after everything you say and you acknowledge, I really and truly would not have signed this deal.
Whenever you're talking about sports media, and real conversations have to happen. So we always wanted to celebrate sport. And in doing so, we might say some words that adults say and the internet says, and I think in the future it's going to be much more accepted because words don't really, you know.
They're just spells. A little different.
They don't cast spells.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit, but I feel like we have always like celebrated sport. Celebrated greatness. We try to utilize sport as a unifier. We have people in our demos, and I've had to go through all my stats and analytics for all these conversations I've had with people. We got people from this side of the spectrum politically all the way to this side of the spectrum politically, and also
touching the wall.
The what we all know.
The fringes of,
we know
far outside.
Those ones out there, because we all have the same kind of love for sport. So I feel like we've always tried to put that at the forefront of everything we do. If we wanted to be negative, it would run up numbers.
Sure.
It's an easy thing to do. And to be honest, with the talent we have on microphones on this particular stage, if we wanted to be negative people, we'd be the best in the world at it. Like if I was cutting heel promos on people every single day in sports, which is an easy way to run up numbers, be negative about it. And you kind of forget that the people you're talking about are humans as well, who have feelings and have worked their asses off and everything like that. But if we're just looking at sports as objects, and I'm cutting heel promos on people, and then you got Connor and Ty at the toxic table chiming in on top of it, we could be the most negative fucks on earth. That is a very easy thing. But we've chosen to do it in our own fashion. We've chosen to do it in our own way. It's been by design. I've been offered contracts from every platform or network that we were just talking to in the past, and I've said nope because the circumstances weren't right. It wasn't the right time. Now it feels like the perfect time, mostly because the president of content over there, Burke Magnus, brand new. Okay? Been around ESPN a long time. This is his first couple months here in charge of content and what ESPN is as a whole. Since day one, literally in the meetings that I've had to go to, this dude is like,
he gets it.
I want you in our thing.
Let me first say this here. I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of people who watch sports now know that sports media and the mainstream media as a whole is really just good old-fashioned entertainment now. Now, really quick, and I know I said now twice back-to-back. It's just kind of how I talk. Here's the thing. If you think you can change the media landscape, good on you. Great. However, based upon the recent activities of ESPN, Disney in particular, a lot of us are pretty well skeptical of this. So please forgive us if we're a little bit baffled. At the very end, he kind of asserts that he's going to have a lot more control, or they don't want him to change his thing. That may be true, Pat. That may be true, but let me go ahead and say this, and I'm going to be saying this again when we play the second clip. Presidents come and go. Creative control guys, they come and go. Creative directors, whatever, they come and go. At the end of the day, they all work for the same entity, Disney. They still work for the same guy, Bob Iger. Let me take you guys back in time. When DeSantis got into the fight with Disney, the initial fight, it was over the Parental Rights Act. And the thing you have to understand is this, right? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because during that time frame, Bob Chapek, he decided that under pressure, he would lean into it. Then he would try to get rid of the wokes in the company, and then they would all of a sudden, they would burn him. He wasn't strong enough, and he was eventually voted out. He was eventually let go. And then they brought back Bob Iger, the previous CEO, the guy who was initially carrying the woke line, the woke agenda. They brought him back, and of course he was running. Now Disney has brought in more people that could potentially oversee, well, not oversee, but maybe overtake Bob Iger in that chair. These guys are more pure money people. The more pure money person, and what I mean by pure money person is the person who cares mostly about the dollars, the bottom line, which is the money. That said individual is going to care more about what sells. Well, wokeness and the stuff that they're trying to put on our kids doesn't sell. ESPN in its current form doesn't sell. I mean, they've been laying off people left and right. People are unsubscribing from ESPN Plus. They're unsubscribing from Disney. So you probably would think that they're losing a lot of money. And guess what? They're back at it with DeSantis again. We'll probably do a bigger video on Disney at a later date, or how it was that Disney just may, how do I say, I've been saying for a while that Disney's been dead for a long time. And that everything that's happening since their death is that it's been like the fumes of like something rotten, like a rotten corpse or a rotten body. It's just the fumes that are coming off of it, which, by the way, always smell 10 times worse. Well, I don't really know because I haven't really smelt dead bodies before, but I'm pretty sure you guys get the point. Fact of the matter is that Disney has been dead for a while, and a lot of people just don't trust Disney itself. A lot of people don't trust ESPN. They haven't trusted ESPN since roughly 2017, 2018 timeframe, maybe 2016, when you had people openly taking the side of Colin Kaepernick when he was kneeling. Now, here's the deal, or kneeling during the anthem, my bad. But the deal is this right here. That is an extremely crucial part of your fan base because it's your core fan base. It's the people who actually buy the ticket. It's the people who take off work to travel to a big city to, in fact, purchase a ticket, especially at a football game that may be anywhere between $120 to maybe $700. I know that my tickets, when I went to go see the Packers play the Cowboys, they were like $3-something, and we were sitting like in the third row. If I wanted to sit field level, those tickets would have costed about $700, even with the veterans package. And then you got to factor in parking and all that stuff there. You were already upsetting the core sections of your audience. Disney did the exact same thing, which, of course, you know, with Disney, I'm kind of looking at them, I'm saying to myself, maybe what you should do, seeing how it is you've got such bad writers and such bad animators, maybe what you should do is do more live action films, but that's another video for another day. Fact of the matter is that nobody trusts ESPN, nobody trusts Disney, and when they see you sign this contract, they automatically think to themselves he's sold out. Me, of course, I believe that I would say unintentionally, meaning that he went into this deal being very naive. Being naive to the fact that maybe a year from now, they just may change things. And going back to the whole thing where he's like this right here, I got people on both sides of the aisle. Pat, I'm here to tell you right now, I would say 65 to maybe two-thirds, I'd say 65%, two-thirds, maybe even three-quarters of your audience is pretty well conservative because you've always came off as a more working class sports figure. Let's go ahead and go to the next part, and then we'll go ahead and close this thing down.
Of our operation. Jimmy Pitaro, he and I did not know each other. Whenever ESPN was banning people from coming on our program, that is when, and this was a couple years ago, when the hashtag ESPN stinks was trending for 10 hours, I think, because of the way everything was going with them over there. I met Jimmy for the first time there because he and I did not interact with each other since our first conversation, me and Jimmy Pitaro. And there's a reason he is the guy in charge of it all. And these executives at high levels normally seem to get it. Everybody else that's kind of
underneath them,
probably going to remain there for a while. There'll be a couple people that can go. Those people are the ones that go. They kind of see it and they get it. Me and Jimmy Pitaro, since day one, have been understanding. He understood that the timing wasn't right. He didn't want me to join ESPN at that time because of everything that happened there, but he definitely wanted me on game day whenever everybody else seemingly in positions over there that could make decisions didn't. So Jimmy, Burke, myself, all aligned on what our show is, how our show is, what it will be when we go over there, has eased my mind so much because the backlash, the negativity that happened on Twitter, YouTube, my Instagram, my wife's Instagram. People are commenting on my wife's Instagram, calling her husband and new baby's father is a sellout or whatever. It's like,
Jesus,
y'all motherfuckers have no idea. Like, what are we even talking about? And the reason why I didn't try to explain myself to everybody is because with this particular program, and I know it sounds arrogant or whatever, but I'm the host, I'm the pundit, we're the producers. What gets talked about has to go through here.
Everything sounds good. Everything sounds good that you know that ESPN at one point in time was being trended. ESPN sucks. People were not trusting ESPN. But I'm here to tell you right now, ESPN is probably not going to change. They may leave you alone for a short period of time, but at some point in time, the claws are going to be dug in a little bit further and further and further, if not slowly. Pat, I would advise you to pay very, very close attention to how things go, because it's very possible that once you begin to maybe get some measure of success, or when other people begin to see their stuff begin to flop, they may go in, they may complain. What I mean by that is this right here. On ESPN First Take, and I caught what he was saying about, is he also mentioned cold pizza and them trying to recreate some certain things they had before they went to the full entertainment sphere. But here's the problem, though. You don't have Skip Bayless to go along with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has got his own podcast. He's only got a year left on his contract. And I personally think that Stephen A. Smith is going to be gone at the end of 2024. Given the fact that ESPN was laying off a lot of people, they were only going to keep certain personalities on. And of course, I'm pretty sure you guys know the personalities I'm talking about. Ryan Clark, Kendrick Perkins, who else? Mina Kimes. They're only going to keep the people out there who are going to push the woke agenda. Now, here's the problem. Pat could see himself overtake them, but if he does overtake them, guess who the hell is going to go into the office and complain about paycheck or whatever? Guess who the hell is going to do that? The wokes are going to do it. We're not getting the airtime. We're not getting the push that we want, the beta males. You signed Pat McAfee, and he came over here and he overtook things, which, by the way, ESPN may have been anticipating that to try to save their brand. But the problem is, knowing the people at Disney, knowing the people at top, things change. They're always about the agenda and no longer about the dollars. Now, some people believe that Disney's going into a brand new direction. I kind of sit back. I'm skeptical. That right there remains to be seen. The fact of the matter is this right here. When people see this, they automatically associate you with being a sellout. And one more thing that I need to say is this right here. And I understand that Pat has got to, actually two more things. I understand that Pat may think he has some good intentions here, but check it out. Those two interns you got there, Ty Schmidt, Boston Connor, I understand maybe you want to get these younger guys some extra money. I can appreciate that. I understand maybe you want to get the guys on your crew some extra money. I can appreciate that. Give them a very, very good internship. I can appreciate that. But the problem is this right here. You now may be subjecting them to the dark side of what is Disney, the dark side of what may be ESPN. I understand. Pat probably naively thinks that he did a very good thing here. My concern and the concern of many others is that, this right here could be completely turned on its head. And at some point in time, you just may regret this, meaning that about maybe 6 or 7 months into your time there, they're going to want you to start pushing a certain agenda. Now, Pat, you can fight back against that, and I would hope that you would if you were over there, because you never caught me as an agenda-driven person. But still, at the same time, though, money talks, and oftentimes people will do certain things for the money. Okay, it's just the way that it is. Also, something else too, I honestly believe that you would have done better here on YouTube and YouTube alone. You'd be much, much more freer rather than being under a contract with somebody who, quite frankly, is turning out to be a complete turd of a company. Now, guys, there is one more thing that I do want to address, okay? And when he was saying that people were leaving things on his wife's Instagram page. Okay, look, here's the deal. If you're angry, you're frustrated, I understand that. You want to take it out on something. You want to voice your opinion. Look, you have the right to do that. I don't condone anybody going on anybody's Instagram page and doing that. I just want you to know that right now. I don't condone basically people just going after somebody online. I don't condone that at all. However, I also know that it's a part of the business, and I also know that someday, guess what? I'm going to receive a lot of hateful comments. Guess what? I'm going to receive a lot of hateful messages on social media. I barely even use Twitter, okay? Small account. I'll leave it in the description box for you guys if you want to follow me there. All I really do is crap post. However, I do see some people sicking certain people on certain individuals. Okay, I'm not okay with that, so I don't condone anybody going to his wife's Instagram page. However, at the same time, though, I do got to say this right here. People are obviously upset, but of course, what is eventually going to come out from that show remains to be seen. I can only hope that maybe, just maybe, your presence there will right the ship at ESPN, and there'll be more of a sports-driven channel rather than an entertainment and agenda-driven channel. However, please forgive me if I feel somewhat skeptical about that, and please forgive those who are angry if they feel somewhat skeptical about that. With that right there being said, guys, John Claymore, if you like this content, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. If you feel that I earn your subscription, please subscribe, help the channel grow. Please come on the notifications bell, and I will see you guys. Oh, and please leave a comment, too. I'd love to get you guys' thoughts, even if they're negative. Please, if they're negative towards me, even if they're negative towards me or negative towards the situation, I'd love to get you guys' thoughts. Please leave it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.